Hello there. You are welcome once again to Lasting Love Couples Talk Show on television. My name is Fumi Adeyi, and Lasting Love is a forum where we talk about different issues relating to love, attractions, and challenges in marriage. It is also a platform where we learn more about what God's plans are, God's intention for marriage. My guests today have been married for 22 years. Dr. Patrick Tolani is a lawyer, is a business consultant, as well as a pastor, while his wife, Dr. Mrs. Foyeke Tolani, is a public health specialist. She's an author, as well as a co-pastor of Christ's Love Assembly, a parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And together they have defined love as preferring other people to themselves. Please watch this.
I will introduce myself as Patrick Tolani. I would say a man of many parts. I'm a lawyer, a pastor, a businessman, and I have a wonderful wife and 2 children.
Introducing myself, I'm Foyeke Christina Tolani, and I'm married to Patrick. And we have 2 children, Esther and Timothy. I'm also a public health specialist working with a charity organization in Oxford. I'm also a Christian by the grace of God. I pastor the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Christ Love Assembly, together with my husband. And I'm also author of 2 books.
The way I proposed to my wife, she was a youth couple. And at the time, and I was in school, I was in the university, and there was no internet, there was no telephone, so I think it was through letter.
We were friends for some time, and he thought I was engaged to someone else, so we kept on being friends and just sending letters to one another. So during my youth course time in Nigeria, there was a particular letter I sent, and he just said, again, are you actually engaged? So I said, well, I'm a pre-bud. And then the next thing was he sent a letter to say, how about we being engaged and with the prospect of getting married, because in our days you really have to first propose for engagement and then go into courtship before you actually get married. So it was by a letter.
My favorite color would be white.
And my husband's favorite color, so many, but I think he likes blue, light blue, and also bright colors, because he keeps saying you wear bright things, you're very dark. But anyway, I think it should be a bright colors, I would say.
Her favorite color? I got no idea.
My favorite color, bright colors, I'd say maroon.
How romantic am I on the scale of 1 to 10? I give myself 10.
How romantic am I? On a scale of 1 to 10. No. Maybe my husband would be the best person to answer that question, but I think not bad. Maybe 6, 7.
How romantic is my wife? Because I need more. I'll say 8.
Yeah, and my husband, I would say 7. 8. Well, it's between us.
Wow, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Tolani, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on Lasting Love. Do you know how long I've been believing God that you're going to be on this show? It's been for ages, and I'm so blessed to have you here today. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And I have to appreciate God for your life, the simplicity, the humility, it's just amazing. God bless you.
God bless you too.
So, I'll take it from you. Well, I have to commend you. You guys are, well, I'm not supposed to say guys. You,
It's okay.
you are very well read. You both have your PhD in different departments. You have your PhD in law.
No, mine is in public management.
Public management, and yours is in
medical microbiology.
Wow, you guys are very smart. So how did the relationship start? I'll start from you, Dr. Patrick.
Just say Patrick, so that
It's all right. I'm not sure I can say that anyway.
okay. That's fine. It started whilst we were in school. I started my university studies in law at the university that is called University of Ilorin in Nigeria.
Really?
And I was a student of law, but I was a member of what is called, I think it is still called, the Unilorin Christian Union.
UCF?
UC,
No, UCU.
Yes.
UCU, and she was a student in the same university.
Of Ilorin as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
I went to Unilorin too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
interesting.
think I read that about you.
Oh, that's good, man.
So, but she was in the main campus, what used to be the main
Permanent
campus
site,
at
yeah.
this time.
Yeah, main campus then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were at the
Mini.
campus.
Sure.
But we belonged to the same fellowship.
UCU.
And we belong to the same department, so which is called the publication unit.
Right.
So she was the unit head,
Right.
and I was a member of the unit.
Right.
And being a dutiful person,
I can imagine.
so she came looking for her members, and I was one of the members. But unfortunately at the time, because she didn't know my kind of regime, she didn't know that for anybody to see me, even when I was in the university, you still needed to make an appointment with me.
Really?
Yes, I was like that.
So how were they going to make an appointment?
You just have to make an appointment, otherwise you won't know my program.
I see.
And so she came, and she didn't meet me when she came to my room, and I really felt very sympathetic
Yeah.
towards her. That she came all the way from that far place, which and she didn't meet me. But apparently, she probably met some members of the department. So I thought it was going to be good
To reciprocate.
Yes,
Go and check up on her as
yeah,
well.
just to go and pay her a visit.
So all the way to the
at
main campus
at
you
the
went.
main campus, maybe to compensate her. And
And you liked what you saw.
and then when I visited, which was really the first time I could meet her on a one-to-one basis, I thought she was such an impressive person that was very serious, and I thought, wow, this person would challenge me. So I saw that, and I just I left it like that.
Can I quickly cut in there, sir?
Yeah.
When you saw him, was yours love at first sight? Did you like what you saw?
Oh well, I would say that mine was love at first sight, but also a connection with the spirit. Because for a long time I've been praying to God that I don't want to make any mistake with regards to marriage. And I also prayed to God that, please, when I meet my husband to be, let me know.
Really?
So when I met him, he was actually wearing white, and I just felt, wow, oh, this guy is handsome, and Lord, what are you saying? I kind of got a kind of confirmation in my spirit.
Really?
And that this is the person. But of course, as the leader of the team, I wasn't how to say, oh, this is the person, and then I go out and run up to him. But
why were you not? Because was it not possible for you to actually make the proposal?
I think that there are even two things which something very important, which many people who have been members of the executive needed to be aware of in the Christian fellowship at the time. I don't know if you remember, but I still do remember very vividly that once you get to the ESCO, you were under.
Yeah, I remember that.
You're
not allowed.
You're not allowed
to propose to any. Sure.
To anybody at that time, and in our case, it was very interesting because she got to the ESCO. I was supposed to be in that ESCO, so I declined.
Oh, really?
Yes, I declined.
Any reason?
My reason at the time was that just shortly before I was asked, I became the Secretary General of the Law Student Society.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it was a contested election.
Oh, I see.
So I contested that election.
And you won.
And then shortly thereafter, I was approached to be a member of the ESCO.
Right.
And I had to say no.
Right.
Because I thought doing those two things together with my academics was not advisable. Yes, so I declined, but it was a difficult thing.
I can imagine.
Because most people, I don't think they've had anybody decline before.
I can imagine.
Yes, so they wouldn't think I was backslided.
Yeah.
I had to promise that if they still thought that I would be useful the following year,
they can come to you.
They could still come to me.
So
in a way, the following year, I got into ESCO.
Oh, I see.
So you can see that.
So you were not still allowed to propose to her because you were part of the ESCO. So you left it hanging.
The first year, I couldn't propose because she
was
a member of ESCO.
The following
year, I was not allowed to propose.
So how did it eventually?
But also, in our days, before you propose to someone, you need to talk to the leader, like an elder, to say you're thinking or you've prayed and you're convinced that this person is going to be your future partner. So you need to.
So you were not allowed to go directly?
No, you need like a second confirmation, and then the person will be able to say, okay, you take my blessings and you can go ahead.
So in your case, did that happen?
In our case, it was a bit tricky because when you are a sister in a fellowship and you are fervent in the Lord, quite a number of brothers will be interested in you. So, and I think that was my case, and a number of people thought I was engaged, but I was really looking out for the person God wanted for me. So I think somehow along the line, he thought I was already engaged, and so we had that kind of situation. So I finished university, and then I was serving. But we remained friends.
Touch, yes. Unfortunately, there were no emails, no WhatsApp, none of that. So it was through letters.
Letters, yes.
And you got his letter?
So like when I was serving, I would at least get a letter from him every week.
Oh,
and
really?
And I would always reply as well. And we kept on exchanging letters until I got a particular one where he asked that, by the way, are you already engaged? And I wrote back and said I was a free bird, and that
was an opportunity.
Yes.
You were going to tell a story?
Well, what happened, which is also to confirm that in those days, we kind of do our due diligence before we take action.
How do you mean?
Yeah, what I mean is we don't just go all over the place doing things without confirming, just as she mentioned earlier on. When I felt, now I'm out of ESCO, which was now my final year, we had moved to what is called in Nigeria the Obafemi Awolowo University, where I had to finish my law degree, and I thought now I was free to take a decision. So I felt, okay, let me find out from a few friends about this lady. So I now found out, somebody said, oh, sorry, she's engaged.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, well, she's already engaged. And I said, well, thank God she's engaged, but I'll still keep her as a family friend.
Oh.
And we can still continue with our relationship. After all, you don't have to marry everybody that you meet. So, but I felt before I give up, let me just ask her herself
Exactly.
whether she was
Engaged or not.
And that was when she said, and I quote her, she said earlier on, I'm a free bird. And I thought, a free bird might mean the nest.
I like that. Why not?
Yeah.
Of course. And were you expecting that proposal? Because you didn't seem to hesitate. You just were like, yeah, you're a free bird.
Well, I was expecting it because I had prayed.
Oh,
and
right.
I got the confirmation over and over again. So, but
and you
I
liked it
wasn't
anyway.
Yes, but I wasn't in a rush to kind of show that I was expecting it, because I didn't want to kind of look cheap. So, but I just kept on saying, well, God, if it's your will and you said it is, it's going to come, and I'll wait. Yeah.
So are you going to encourage girls, young girls like that? You know what the world is in this day and age, when they have a confirmation about a young man, would you encourage them to be patient, to hold on, or to just walk up to them and tell them you like them?
I would say be patient and hold on, because if God is in it, God is able to speak to that person, and the person, if indeed is a child of God, should be able to hear God.
Would you say, or would you encourage a young girl to actually let that young man know that she's interested?
I will not, because you don't want to, in our culture, and I think maybe there's a bit of culture as well, because you don't want to portray yourself as cheap. And you also want that person to have an independent decision and to be able to hear from God. And I do tell young people that when it comes to marriage, you just have to be able to hear from God. You need to know what God is saying, because marriage is not the, kind of, it's not infatuation. Love is not infatuation.
No, not at all.
You need to be able to you have to be convinced that this is the person God wants for me. And that's why they would say, for better, for worse, come rain, come sunshine.
That's
when you've heard, you can always go back to God when it's not sunny.
That's right.
And you'll be able to say, God, you told me, you said, and then God can give you that assurance again to say, I said, just hold on. So patience is really important.
Okay, Dr. Patrick, what exactly did you see in her that you wanted? Why you really wanted her to be with you?
I think what I saw, because the truth of the matter is that when I went to see her, I didn't really think of marriage. I just with an
open mind.
I just went with an open mind. I went to just visit, but when I met her, I thought, oh, she's got a lot of virtues.
Like what virtues? Tell me some of the virtues.
I saw the virtue of hard work, which I'm still finding very difficult to slow her down from.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's good. Very hardworking.
Yeah, if you relate to me, I think you think I'm the laziest person on earth, but it's just that I'm very strategic. So I accomplish so much within so little time. So, and then I create enough time to do other things. So I saw that virtue in her. But if you press me for physical appearance, I'll say the open teeth.
I like that.
Yes. And
it actually adds to the beauty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Of course.
I think so. And the smile.
Yes, it's still
which
there.
Yes. And that's a little bit dangerous because most people don't even know whether she's angry or she's not.
Oh,
because
dear.
she will always offer the
The
smile.
smile. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Like me, I think if you sometimes when you need to be serious when you see my face.
Yes. Okay, Dr. Tolani, Dr. Feke, how long did you court for?
I think a couple of years.
It's not a couple, it's 4 and 5 years.
Yeah.
Why that was long? Why was that so long?
Yeah.
I think there were many reasons, but I was doing my PhD,
Right.
my doctorate, and my dad said, you have to finish it before you get married.
Tell me, how old were you then?
I think I was 22 or 23.
Oh,
yeah, thereabouts.
well, you were
24,
still
yeah.
young.
Yes.
Wow,
yeah.
22.
And, yeah,
wow.
so it was
24,
yeah, because we
That's
got
still
married when
young.
I was 27, I think. Yeah.
Wow, okay. So your
Yes.
daddy wanted you to finish
He
anyway.
wanted me to finish,
enough.
yeah, and he knew we were engaged then, but he
Okay.
still insisted, and he promised that he will make sure I finish.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, I'll come back to you. You're watching Lasting Love. We'll be right back after the break.
We'll be right
Discover the uniqueness in the entertainment industry. African Broadcasting Network, ABN, is now the pace setter in the industry. Do you want to advertise your product and services? Count on us. We will do it much more than your expectations. African Broadcasting Network, ABN, will deliver quick and prompt services. Our quality and clarity stands us out when it comes to delivering quality broadcasting. Our staffs are hardworking and versatile in the specific field of office. Our environment is so conducive and we are open to all. We also give advice on how to run your business profitably. African Broadcasting Network is situated at
9894 Isone Street, Suite 875, Houston, Texas 77036.
contact phone 281-652-8396 and
832-490-8203.
website www.abntvnetwork.com. ABN, celebrating Africans' rich cultural heritage.
You're welcome back, and this is Lasting Love. And today I'm speaking with Pastor Patrick and his wife, Pastor Foyeke Tolani. Yes, let's talk about being romantic. The other time you were talking about you actually said you are 10 out of 10. What makes you romantic? What are the things you were doing that makes you feel you are 10 out of 10?
This is a defense now. I have to defend my scores, isn't it?
Then you have to defend it with something. So what are the things you do?
Well, I think I'm very caring. I'm a little bit playful when I'm not too serious.
Right,
Yes,
at least.
so
Okay.
I think she probably knows more than I do.
Yeah, Pastor Foyeke, he actually said you love dodo so much, and that's plantain.
Yes.
And that's true, isn't it?
It is.
How much? Why exactly is it? What's in dodo? What's in plantain?
My sweet.
You're actually lucky that you eat it that much and you're still maintaining this weight, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because we keep very decent regime in the way we eat in the home. She won't eat that every time because heavy way of eating, because everybody has got to know that if you want to live long, you also need to be careful about what you eat. So it's not as if she will eat it in the morning, afternoon or evening. But even as much as she loves it, I don't think she will eat it more than twice in a week or something.
So do you have a regular food timetable at home?
Well, I mean, we don't, but we've tried it. We've tried having a timetable Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But what we try to do is to make sure that we don't eat the same thing every night. So we kind of have variety of the different things that we eat. Yeah, I will make sure that at least it's balanced diet. Yeah.
And your own favorite food was actually pounded yam, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not the truth.
I like that.
It's really no. I think
I said you eat anything though.
Yeah. It's fair to say I just eat anything. Yes, anything that comes my way. But it must be healthy. That's the bottom line, and it must be enjoyable. So. Pounded yam, and we don't even have pounded yam in this part of the world. So
pounded yam.
We have this.
We have the pounded yam.
Yeah.
So as somebody from Ekiti, Nigeria, we don't think that's the best to eat. But I, as she knows, and everybody in the family knows, if I have to eat what we describe as swallow, I will even probably go for oats.
Okay,
yes, oatmeal.
Yeah. Plantain flour.
Yeah.
The very healthy options now.
So sometimes I even decline from take pounded yam when that's what they want to have, and I just go for my own choice. So because my bottom line is what keeps me healthy. And I think everybody should think about that.
Oh yeah.
That's
do you go
important.
to the gym? Do you exercise together?
Only during holidays.
At least during the holidays.
Most of the places we go to for holiday, they have gym facilities, so we do.
You
But he
maximize
goes
that.
more than I do. But I think I need to change.
But that's no bad. And tell me exactly, how was it like getting pregnant the very first time you got pregnant? Was it something you planned for, or was it just an accident?
Well, okay, so I told you that my dad said you have to finish your PhD before you get married, and so I finished my lab work and also the write-up, and it was taking time, and unfortunately when I submitted my thesis, the external examiner had an accident, so I had to wait for 1 year. So my dad kind of gave the permission we can get married. So I got married. And but we still felt we should wait for it a while.
Really?
Because we still wanted, want
finish.
to finish really proper before we start having children. And somehow again, I think I waited for a year. And then when it was time, we had another delay again. There was some problems and I couldn't defend. So we just said, come on, let's just start having children while we wait forever.
Exactly.
And then when we felt, let's start having children, it didn't happen the first month. And the second month, then I started getting anxious. But as God will have it, within 3 months that we decided I would start having children, then God made it happen.
Right.
Yes.
So how easy was the pregnancy period?
Well, I would say it was good. It was good. It wasn't bad.
It was good.
Yes.
Oh, praise God.
When questioned about pregnancy is asked, I'm sure men are thought not to be part of the transaction.
Not really.
Okay.
You should be actually.
Thanks for knowing that.
Yes, you should be.
What I've said, and it's good to let people know, that the women, they have it physically. They know what is happening to their body.
But the men,
they understand. But we have it psychologically.
Which is good.
Yes.
Which is good.
So we feel it.
I hope all men are able to say this actually.
Well, I think probably most men have a kind of feeling, but they don't know how to define it.
But there are some men who run away when their wives are having children.
Do
you think they're psychologically involved?
I can't rule out irresponsible men. I can't rule out.
No, they're not actually irresponsible.
But they are scared or
yes,
something.
they are just overwhelmed.
Probably it's possible, Probably that's possible,
But you were carried along anyway.
I was carried along.
Were you there when she was going to give birth?
Curiously, we had Esther in Nigeria.
Oh.
And I don't mean to bring down anybody, but they simply didn't allow me to enter the room.
Oh yes.
Yes.
And that's the culture.
So they said but I was literally at work, so to say, because it was a Monday. So what I did was there were many of the doctors that were close to me, so they allowed me to stay in their flats.
Okay.
And they were going to her and were bringing message back to me.
How dare
in the place where I would say I was hibernating, just waiting.
Right.
But they were telling me this is how far she's making progress and so on and so forth.
Okay, Dr. Foyeke, can I quickly ask you, would you encourage couples to actually, or rather the men to actually be by the side of their women or their wives when they're having children? Is this something you would encourage? What's the benefit?
I think we all have different experiences. Because we had our first child in Nigeria, in those, then it was not really a tradition to have men, you know, in the maternity, in the labor room. Yes. Whereas when we had our second child, it was okay. And I think if depending on what you're going to go through, if for instance some people, some women have it easy, before you know what's happening, the child is out. But if you're going through a tough time, it's good to have the man beside you. And
what will he be doing?
Just encouraging you to hold on, to keep faith, especially if you're Christians. He can share the word of God with you, which you really need at that time. Yes. So I think it's a good thing, and also it makes them more compassionate, I think, because seeing the whole thing actually gives you a different experience. So I think it's good for every man to witness it. It to help them.
Is it just good, or it's mandatory, or are you just encouraging the men to always stay by their wives when they are having children?
I will not say it is mandatory, because you can still be in the part of the world where it's not allowed, or where things are not conducive for such a thing to happen. But if you are in an environment where you can support your wife, I think it's a good thing to do. I don't know for those who go through cesarean. I don't know if it's something I would want to witness as a man, because that's a different type of delivery.
That's true.
And also I don't know if the man will be allowed to be in there. But the key thing is that it's not an easy time for the woman, and as much as possible the man should be there to support in whatever way he can. Yes.
Now, as couples been married for over 22 years now, what challenge have you been through together and you have been able to pull through in?
I think what I'll call the challenge, which would also be a point of inspiration for other people, is that you just need to recognize that you won't see things the same way all the time as a couple. You can't.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Because you are different. You have different perspectives about life. You have different convictions about life. But what has worked for us is the fact that I've seen her take the lead on some issues. And it's like, I don't think this is what we should be doing. And I think we should, but what I do, because I trust her and because I love her, I say, well, let me just support her. So what I tell people is, there is no how you won't have disagreements, but don't be disagreeable. You can have disagreements. Trust yourselves, trust your judgment, and don't be disagreeable.
But I think if people do not agree together every time, there will be a continual conflict in their marriage.
I did not say every time.
Okay.
What I said is there are times you might not see things the
same way. And that has happened to you.
And that has happened
severally.
to us.
And you've managed
And
it.
we've managed it. We've supported each other. And because the point of the matter is that she made mention of, when we're talking about people see, a man these days, a lady could see something before the man.
Actually, I'm happy you mentioned that, because I was going to say that because she had a PhD before you went into your own PhD.
In fact, many years.
Were you not intimidated?
That's why she married me. Because actually, she started her PhD
before she got married.
When I was a youth copper.
Wow.
And people told her, are you sure that guy is going to marry you? Are you sure? He said, you need to know him. Once you know him, you know that even with my PhD, I still need to learn a lot.
Wow. So you were not intimidated at all?
Nothing intimidates me.
And with you, were you not thinking, oh, I'm doing my PhD and he's just finishing his first degree, how am I going to marry him? At all?
No, I mean, I didn't have that kind of impression, because I knew it was the person God wanted for me. And also, I also knew that he had a lot of stuff. It's loaded, not just a degree. I kind of knew that together we're going to have a good future. And but I also knew he was very intelligent. And so even though he was just doing his youth corps, I knew that he had the intention to still go for further studies. And in fact, he did. So he has 3 masters and a PhD. So so now he's much more higher than me, because
Nothing like that.
I like that. There's nothing like that.
There's
No
nothing
competition.
No way.
Oh, that's so good. Wow, that's so good. I'll be right. Now, you're watching Lasting Love with Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Patrick Tolani. And when we come back,
to back up what you're trying to, the argument you're trying to make, and then pray and leave the rest to God. And somehow, we always have this thing like, oh, I told you, but in a nice way, or you told me, but then everything has been resolved amicably. But I always believe in patience, in perseverance, and in prayers.
That's after the break. Please stay with us.
We'll be right back.
You're welcome back, and this is Lasting Love. I'm here with Pastor Dr. Mrs. Patrick Afoyeke Tolani, and today we will be talking about accountability in marriage. Yeah, to start off with, I would want to ask you, in the context of marriage, what exactly is accountability?
Definitely in life, not even in marriage alone, you have to understand that there are consequences for whatever you do. And often, you are not alone going to be responsible or going to bear the brunt of what happens to you. It happens in public service, It happens in churches, it happens in home. But bringing it down to the home, the family is a nucleus kind of organization. And you should understand, everybody should understand, that every member of that party or that family, whatever you do, there is a way it affects the other members of the family. And so, coining the language from a friend of mine, I heard this in Nigeria, he said everybody in a family should be accountability partners, meaning that I'm accountable to you and you're accountable to me. I'm accountable to my children are accountable to me. And one of the things I tell people in church is that there is a particular verse of the scripture that many people don't even know it exists. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 11.
What does it say?
The Bible says, submit one
to another.
But we men are always very quick to say, wives, submit to your husband. But the preceding verse says, submit one to another.
So how should we do that?
How we should do that is we think about the impact of what we are doing, what we are going to do on the other members of the family before we even do it. You don't take reckless decisions that can affect both yourself and members of your family. I have very sad examples of people in a particular country, Nigeria, for example, where the former prime minister said the country is fantastically corrupt. Yeah, you find people stealing so recklessly. And I've always asked my question, when it is put in the paper, so person stole so much, how do the wives and children feel about that decision? They might have enjoyed the money, no doubt, but how does it feel? And if people can think about that before they take decisions, I think churches will be better, our lives will be better as societies, and things will work better
for us.
Yeah.
Okay, Pastor Foyeke, please tell me just give an example. For example, yourself and your husband, who are you accountable to?
I would say when we talk about accountability, as you said, we're accountable to one another.
Okay.
But I would say, but most importantly, you're accountable to God.
Yeah.
And that's where the scriptures comes in, that we need to prefer the other person to ourselves. And when we talk about accountability, it's in different dimensions. You have to be accountable, on money issues. You have to be accountable on time issues. You have to be accountable on how you use your resources, not just the money aspect.
Yeah.
And also you have to be accountable about your own conduct. And that is where we're having a lot of problems in the world today, where people just think about themselves alone, not thinking about others.
But can people be accountable to their pastors?
That people can be accountable to their pastors as well, because, and this is where we talked about conduct. You have spiritual conduct, you have physical conduct, moral conduct, different types of conduct. So when you are a member of a church, you have responsibilities in that church, and you should be able to, you are accountable for the things that you've been put in charge of.
So can people choose who to be accountable to? Can they choose, or is it just something that comes naturally?
Well, it doesn't come naturally, as you know. People tend to choose who they want to be accountable to. But I always ask people, I said, if you if you are, kind of gainfully employed and you have a manager, you work in a company, you cannot choose not to report to your manager. And that's what I tell people in church. I said, you can't afford, right, to boycott your office without informing your manager, or to boycott your job for 4 days, but then you come to church and you boycott church for 4 consecutive Sundays without telling anybody. So you are accountable, but people tend to choose to say it doesn't matter, but it does matter. When you're in church, you're accountable to God, to your pastor, to your departmental leader. Let them know what's happening to you and how you're doing the work you've been assigned. If you are in your home, if you're a child, you're accountable to your parents. When they give you money, you should be able to say, this is how much I got, this is how I've spent it.
Do you think parents can be accountable to their children as well?
Definitely, they have to be accountable, because sometimes I think if parents are accountable to their children, they should be open enough to say, you know what, this is what I do and this is how much I earn. And so with that knowledge, children will not make unreasonable demands. They would understand that our parents are hardworking. This is what they can afford, and they're not going to stress their parents to say, I want that, this is the latest, because they know what's, it's possible in the family. And not just money issues, even character issues. If we teach our children to be good, we have to be good. So if you tell them not to tell lies, then you should not. And when you present yourself open to them, when you do, they will be able to say, Dad or Mom, you told us not to do this and you're doing it. That's all parts of accountability.
Do you think couples can actually be accountable to each other when it comes to finance? Is that possible?
I think when we talk about accountability, we are not prescribing. We are not prescribing that you should always take a list and explain
how you spent every couple,
how you spend every
penny,
couple, everything. I'm the first person you're going to lose, because you can't worry me with details. But accountability comes in the sense that you don't do things that are important, things that are fundamental, without involving your spouse. My wife would not need my permission to buy her plantain for her.
Not at all.
So routine things. Routine things. Each of you, once you have committed, it's common in our home that she goes out, she comes back with a carrier bags of different things.
That's normal.
And I also come back the same day with my own carrier bags of things. Sometimes I bought what she bought. Sometimes I bought different things to what she bought. So those things are okay. But let's assume you want to take some fundamental decisions. Like, for instance, you want to support a particular charity, you want to support some people who are asking for money. When you want to take decisions like that, I think it's always important to make sure the other party knows and you take a joint decision. That's the accountability.
For people, sir, when you want to take a decision and your spouse is not agreeable, like we said, what's the advice? To be patient, to hold on until you're able to convince her, or you just go ahead with it because you are very sure?
Now, I think this is where the mind comes in.
The mind. Right.
In 22 years, I've never found it objectionable that my wife will support any cause. Because if there is this Bible passage we have in my church, or this verse, Philippians 4:8, whatsoever is true, whatsoever is just, whatsoever is pure, whatsoever is lovely, whatsoever is of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. If anything, I don't see how, in fact, in most cases, she's the one that will say, oh, that person that is doing something in your family, we need to do something.
But you are only blessed. There are people out there whose case is not like yours.
They need a change of heart. The truth of the matter is that this is a good Christian standard. It can't be a matter of luck. It has to be something you work on. If the Bible says, be kindly affectionate to each other, and the Bible says, practice hospitality. It shouldn't be difficult for Amos 3:3 says, can two work together except they agree? So if you have an agreement of mind, it doesn't, even if I believe very strongly that she will even take some decisions that she believes is right, or decisions that are right, believing that I will rectify it when I know. Because she knows that
we kind of believe the same thing.
Maybe because
we think the
22
same
years
way.
on, you've come a long way together. But there are couples out there who are definitely not going to agree on the same thing.
But one thing I would say is when you kind of get to a point where one party is saying this is the way to go, and the other one is saying that's not the way to go, I believe that the role of the woman is as long as it's not that person wants to kill someone. I mean, it's not like do or die thing. You can go into prayers. You can pray about it. I believe very much in prayers. And then the same way you would look for facts to convince people if you're in your office or your workplace and you want to influence someone or persuade someone, look for facts.
True.
And then present your facts in a humble way to back up what you're trying to, the argument you're trying to make. And then pray and leave the rest to God. And somehow, we always have this thing like, oh, I told you, but in a nice way, or you told me, but then everything has been resolved amicably. But I always believe in patience, in perseverance, and in prayers.
Those three: patience,
perseverance, and prayers.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I quickly ask? There's something they call love language. Yeah. What exactly is your wife's love language?
Love language. Is it like baby's language? Because I learned something that baby's language is Gugu Gaga. Maybe there's a love language that is like lover. Oh, Gugu Gaga. I don't understand. I think my own love language is just being loving and caring and expressing it. For instance, in our own case, is either I say Foyestic baby.
Wow, that's a pet name.
Yeah, I just say that.
Baby. Okay, I know what to be calling you.
Or when I know she's overworking herself, I'll say Obinimeta. That's three women put together in one. But that's just to tease.
Right.
Yeah.
And you wink at times, don't you?
Oh yeah, I do, of course. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think is his own love language? The things you do that he really likes.
He likes massage. He likes touching, kind of.
That really works for him.
And I know what to do to make him smile or laugh, and
Can you share what you actually do to make him smile?
Oh, we have some special dancing, and some special songs and
good.
jokes, and
Oh, that's so good to hear. Okay, Pastor Foyeke, let me just ask you. In 22 years of being married to your husband, and you suddenly found out that he's attracted to another woman, he's still your husband, he's still a pastor, how would you help him? How would you bring him back home?
How would I help him? Well, I think the first thing to say is because I do travel, and the type of job I do also means I'm not always with my husband all the time. And the reason is I already kind of, it's like I have a deal with God to say, Lord, I will continue to do this humanitarian work as long as you keep my family for me. So wherever I am, I always have this great peace and assurance that God is taking care of him. And I know I've witnessed some situations where I've seen women attracted to him, because if you're a pastor, you have many women around you. And he is very free with many people. Of course, as a pastor, you have to be caring. So, but as a woman, you will know when the affection that another woman, has is different. So I would, on 2 cases, I've actually told him, I say, you know what? That sister is getting too close, watch it. Wow, and then I pray as well. So, but the moment on one particular case, I said, that person is getting too close, watch it. Good. He just decided to have like a good separation. Not that it became hostile, but he started, being careful.
Yeah. Wow.
But what I believe is trust in God. It's only God that can really help us and take care of our loved ones. But then you also have to be watchful as well. And be able to speak out, not just fold your hands and say, be watching something happening under your nose. You need to be able to speak out.
Right. Dr. Patrick, I need you to address men out there on how to hold their families together and have a successful marriage with their spouse.
Yeah, even if I have to use the accountability partnership or being accountable, I think every man, the Bible says every man should love his wife as Christ loved the church. But that's very profound. There are so many men out there that they are not organizing their lives well. I'm passionate about this message around men ensuring that they have life insurance policies so that if anything happens to them, their families will not suffer. I'm equally, also because I'm a lawyer, I'm equally passionate about men particularly writing their wills so that in case anything happens to them, their families are protected. So men should be organized and show examples, lead by examples, because somehow, whether you like it or not, we are the head of the family, and we must be head indeed. It's not head by talking.
Wow. And Pastor Foyeke, you are an author as well. You've written some books. Yes. Can you quickly tell me about them?
For a long time, been wanting to write a book, but books, I believe, should be by inspiration. So there was this particular time we had 40 days prayer and fasting in church. And I think by after 2 weeks or so into the prayer and fasting, I went before God and I said, Lord, I don't have any more prayer points. I felt, wow, I've exhausted all the prayer points. And I remember that morning, the Lord said, you don't have any more prayer points? That can't be true. And then God started giving me prayer points. And it was just flowing, and I felt, wow, I never thought of that. I never thought I could pray about that. And so I picked up a pen, and for hours, I was just writing different prayer points. And as I was writing, I was also being ministered to about the Bible passage that goes with the prayer point, because when we pray, we should also pray according to the Word of God. And so that gave me, all the main topics for this book, which is Everyday Victorious Living, a meditation and prayer guide.
It's a prayer guide.
It's a prayer guide.
Can I please? Okay.
Yeah. And after writing that one, I gave it to my son, who is 11 years now, but then he was younger. And he said, Mom, this is a prayer book for adults. What about children? So I felt, okay, well, I can only wait on God. So for a long time, I kept on praying, God, please give me the inspiration to write for children. And He sent me back again to the children's Sunday school. And I really spent time with them to really understand them, prayed with them, listened to them. And one night again, God would have it, everything started. The inspiration came. And
so this is a prayer book and poems for children.
Yes, yeah.
And they can read it every day. Oh, chapter 1, chapter 2.
Yeah, and it has different topics.
Simple.
Yes.
This is quite simple. And everyday victorious living. And where can they get this from?
It's on Amazon, and it's also available on www.publicizejesus.com.
Publicizejesus.com.
Yes.
Okay, wow. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you once again for coming. Yeah. It's been a beautiful day today. It's been so exciting having Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Patrick and Foyeke Tolani, and we've been talking about accountability in marriage. Look for somebody you can be accountable to, and you will live a successful life. Until next week, when I come your way again, I am Fumi Adeye. God bless you.